Hey traders, welcome back to the FX YouTube channel. I hope everyone is good today. In this video, I will go over the recent price action and analyze the markets, give some ideas where price may want to go today. The dollar has been extremely strong and pushed EU to new lows. I was hoping to see a pullback, but Euro doesn't seem to have any strength to push up, even though the dollar is showing some signs of weakness today. Let's have a look at the charts and I'll explain in more detail. And just a really quick reminder, if you find value while watching this video, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Starting with the fundamentals, we have some important events today. We'll likely have a lot of volatility in the markets today. We start the day out with PMI in Europe shortly after London opens. And then we have PMI in the US after NYSE open. Today may be a very risky day to trade the markets. So, moving to DXY, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we failed to break the highs and have been consolidating in this area since the second half of New York session yesterday. You can see DXY attempting to push down, but as of yet we've seen absolutely no continuation. On the 15-minute time frame, so you can see that the high that was put in during New York yesterday is holding for now. We've come down a few times and subsequently broke the last point of demand, and we've even come down once again and broke the low again, but you can see price is just playing around and it's failing to continue further to push to the downside. As for my bias, although there is still liquidity resting above, so we failed to break the highs, so obviously there's still liquidity above. It would make sense if we saw some sort of a pullback before continuing to the upside. We have the equal lows right here resting just below, and we have so much liquidity. If you look, all the liquidity that was created on the way up. So although I would like to see a pullback and DXY to come down a little, with the price action that we've seen up to now in Asia and the news coming later, it's tough to say if we'll actually see it. But at the same time, the news may be a catalyst to push DXY to the downside where the majority of the liquidity is resting. Now let's have a look at EU. So on the 4-hour, you can see since last week, so last week we started here, it's been extremely bearish. We started the week with a strong impulse to the downside. We had a couple days of consolidation, and then after that, continuation, pushing to the lower demand. Then yesterday was here. We were so low in the range, it made sense to see some sort of a pullback, maybe to supply that was created before we broke structure again to the downside, or maybe even a pullback to the imbalance, the weekly imbalance that I mentioned on the weekly video, and potentially even the supply that was created before the impulse down. I was expecting that yesterday before attacking the lows, but the dollar wasn't having any of that. The dollar pushed up really strongly to the upside, causing EU just to melt down and break the lows. So this was a previous low. You can see it was clearly broken and even closed below. But normally after seeing such a strong move to the downside and taking out all the available liquidity below, you'd expect a pullback. Like previously, after breaking the lows, we had an immediate reaction, and then after that starting to push to the upside. But as you can see in this situation, after taking all the available liquidity, EU barely made any attempt to push to the upside since breaking the lows. And as of now, it's just kind of consolidating at the lows. So now if we go to the 15-minute time frame, you can see that EU has made some attempt to push up. We've even created a chalk here. So consolidation at the lows, some signs of strength, pull back, clearing all the internal liquidity. So we had some liquidity here, as well as all the liquidity in the internal range. So we cleared all that, and then after that we had a pretty strong push to the upside, which created the chalk. But after that, it's really failed to push further to the upside. You can see we had a corrective pullback. It's broken out of that range and starting to show some signs of strength now. But at the same time, you can see every attempt to push further to the upside is met with strong resistance, pushing the price right back down. So as for bias, it's clearly bearish. I was looking for short-term pullbacks, but seeing how weak the euro is, I'm not so sure we're going to get it. We swept the lows and cleared all the liquidity below. It would make sense for price to pull back before pushing lower to the downside. If I look at it from a liquidity standpoint, there's really nothing left to the downside, aside from the lows that were just created. If price continues down, I'll likely stay out of the markets. I don't really want to take shorts until we see some sort of a pullback. As for longs, seeing that we have the chalk, we currently have the signs in place to buy the market, but it's difficult to trust as we haven't seen any continuation since creating that chalk. And if the low goes, then no point for looking for longs anymore without further confirmation. So to sum up, it would make sense if we had a pullback. I would prefer if EU started to push up and make a run for that imbalance above, but that imbalance is actually way above now. It's way up here. But at the same time, EU is extremely bearish. I wouldn't be surprised if it just continued to melt down. News may be a catalyst to push EU up, and could also be the reason why price action is so boring today. But I wouldn't be surprised if the lows were swept first, one more time before the price pushed up, assuming the institutions wanted to push EU up. And one last note, today's video was recorded several hours before Frankfurt opened. So the picture that we're seeing right now may completely change by then. So please keep that in mind, especially if it makes no sense by the time Frankfurt comes around. Well, anyways, that sums up today's analysis. Hopefully you found it useful. Let me know your thoughts on today's price action by leaving a comment below. And as a reminder, if you found value in this video, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe to ensure you don't miss any future videos. And last but not least, if you want to support me, my affiliate links to all my favorite prop firms and brokers that I'm currently trading with are linked in the description below. Although I am funded at my Forex funds and FTMO, if you've watched any of my recent videos, you know that I have a lot of good things to say about Funded Next, so be sure to check them out too. And I wish you all a good trading day today, and look forward to seeing you again for the next one. See you guys soon. Peace. Hey, you made it to the very end. Thanks for that. If you could do me one more favor and click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, it'll allow the YouTube algos to kick in and help this channel grow. Thanks again. Cheers.